welcome back. Today we're going to be tying a Brassie. We're going to be using a number 14 curved straight eye hook, 2 times short with a reverse bend, with a 1/8 gold plated bead here by Cyclops Beads. We're going to be using Danville 70 denier thread in black. Thread color doesn't really matter. And we're going to be using Strung peacock hurl 5 to 7 inches. And we're going to be using an ultra fine wire, copper wire, for our body. We're using fine wire today because of the size of the hook that we're using. If it were a bigger hook, we'd probably use a little bit larger diameter thread just to help take up space a little faster on the hook. As it is, it's a relatively small hook, so we'll be using a fine wire. I'm just going to lay down a base of thread here. We're going to go back just a little bit past the barb on the hook, and we'll cut that off. And I'm going to run this back up a little bit, build up behind the bead so that we can kind of make a semi-tapered body here. We're going to run it back and forth a couple of times, and then we're going to run it back to the back of the hook. Now, I've already got some of the wire cut off here. It doesn't take a whole lot, so I've already cut some loose. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick it inside the bead, kind of help hold it in place while I'm attaching it to the hook. And then I'm just going to run my thread forward with loose wraps. It doesn't really matter all that much, but you want to get it tied in right where you start your wraps, so that when you start wrapping it forward, it'll lay really neatly and you don't have to struggle getting it wrapped in. Now I'm going to stop just shy of the bead because I want room to tie the wire in and then tie the peacock hurl in, and then so that I can run it forward and have room to lay the peacock hurl in. Now I'm going to start wrapping my copper wire right at where I stopped the thread, and I'm trying to get those wraps on this copper wire as close as I possibly can. We don't really want to see too much of the thread that we laid down as our base. And we're just going to keep wrapping that forward. Getting those wraps touching as much as we possibly can. Yeah, it takes a little bit depending on how fine a wire you're using, but I'm going to stop it right about there, and I'm going to tie it in. Now this will give me plenty of room to tie in the peacock hurl and get a nice body behind the head. Now, I got my strung peacock hurl here. I'm just going to grab a small piece. It doesn't have to be a large piece because you're not going to use all of it. And if you'll see this tag end right here, I'm going to take that and I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. See, just like that. And then I'm going to lay it on the back side. And I'm just going to tie it in there. Now I'm going to run my thread forward right up to the back of the bead. Let that hang, and then I'm going to take my peacock hurl. I'm going to wrap this in, and I'm going to use touching wraps. And normally about 3 or 4 will do just fine. That'll get you enough in there. That'll give you a nice little peacock head, peacock hurl head right behind the bead. Excuse me. Now I'm going to grab my whip finish tool, go right behind the head here and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let that loose. Come up, let it go. Cut it off. And then I'm going to drop this head cement right behind it on top of the bead and let it kind of go down into the threads. The thread should soak that up really nicely. And there you have a Brassie. Hope you liked it. Hope this was informative. If you like my channel, give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you again next time.